All right, guys, welcome back to episode 5 of the Empowered AI podcast. Today I'm joined by another good friend, Ned Perin, running Digital Horizon Marketing, construction-based marketing agency, work with over 250 trades builders within the space. Been in business for 3 years now, absolutely killing it. So, Ned, pleasure to have you on, my man.
Thank you very much for having me, bro.
How you been?
Yeah, I've been good. First ever podcast, so I'm rearing to go, bro. Thanks for having me.
Let's go, man. So let's get into it. For those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into the space, and we'll dive in from there.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good, bro. So we're currently running Digital Horizon Marketing with another good friend of ours, Jaden.
Yep.
Construction based, so solely construction based. So anything from builders, trades, developers, sort of in that niche, and helping them essentially build a brand online, win more work, Instagram, social media, content creation, websites, tender submissions, all that sort of stuff. We started around 3 years ago. Been a bit of a journey, but I've loved every second of it. It's been awesome doing it with Jaden, and then now we're here where we are now. Got a team of 8, team of 9 in May. Another one full-timer joining on in May. So super excited to have him on board. But it's been an awesome journey, and yeah, it's been good, man.
That's good, man. You guys have grown like crazy, and it's been pretty sick, inspiring to see. How have you guys gone, kind of starting out just you two, and then slowly growing that team to where now it's going to be a team of 9?
Yeah, it's been bit of a learning curve for myself. Something that's like, it's very like, every day I love it, but it's also like very scary having a team. But the leadership comes in, and it's something that I've been learning, especially this year, diving a little bit more into being a better leader. How can I get the best from the team? Showing rather than telling, I think that's a big one. But as I said, it's been an amazing journey that over from the start of the 3 years to now, we've gone through many things that we've learnt from, and it's just been awesome. So many learning moments, so many things that we've brought into the business, we've scraped from the business, but it's just been an amazing journey that I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, man, no, that's true. I guess like at different sections throughout the 3 years, like you just said, you're kind of entering like the leadership phase. And when you first start that business, you're almost always wearing all the hats. And you always feel like personally you're the best at what you do. And it's hard to kind of delegate those tasks. How have you gone kind of transitioning away from, I'm the guy who does everything in the business, I know what's best, to training up and building up a team?
That's definitely a good question. Delegation's something that I've had to learn. Like, you're way off better delegating and innovating and inspiring than thinking you're the man, you can do it yourself. That's definitely a skill that we've learnt, and it's definitely a skill that I urge other people to learn. Delegation and inspiring your team will take you so many further steps than just yourself doing it. There's only so many hours in a day. Video editing, filming, social media management are all sort of stuff that we've brought on. And once you realize that there are better people out there than you, you might be able to do it and do it to a good standard, but once you do delegate and inspire those team members, the business grows quicker, and you're able to produce a better output for your clients. And you're able to do it together as a team. But again, more time saved, and the overall output is a lot better than you're on site filming, and then you're coming home and uploading, and it's getting late, and you're getting a little bit lazy you're just handballing it to another person in your team who knows your clients and knows them well, knows what they like, knows what they don't like, and then the output's a lot better.
That's true. With a bigger team, you get better management, a better custom experience for all of your clients as well, which is pretty sick. But 250 plus trades, builders, construction, people within the space, that's pretty crazy. Obviously the space has grown a lot since you started. For anybody out there like construction builders, What would you say is important about social media marketing for their brand in 2026?
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you sort of said, it has grown since we've started. I think when we started, it was sort of just starting. Instagram was, people were doing it, but not everyone was doing it, like sort of how they are now. I think it's just as the generation comes in, the younger generation comes in, growing a brand online is super important. Super important for multiple facets of the business. One, recruitment. Two, picking and choosing your work. Three, building trust. Obviously, there's so much junk on the internet now. So what differentiates a brand from being junk and being good is trust. Showing yourself on camera, showing your quality of your work, showing your team, showing you that you're not just any normal business. That's something that we like to portray to our clients a lot. I think social media is the new websites. Although websites are important, social media is becoming equally as important. Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and LinkedIn. It's an attention-based economy now, as we know. So a lot of people are turning to Instagram to, invite people to tender, invite people to, if you're a homeowner wanting to build a house, they're looking at Instagram, they're looking at inspiration. So that's definitely something that we're saying to our clients, and yeah, sort of helping them get over the line.
Bro, it's so true. I mean, like, I'll even find myself, if I'm going to a restaurant, I know that's like not construction based, but if I'm going to a restaurant, first thing I do is look at their Instagram.
Yeah,
And from the moment I load into their page, I've already made a decision.
absolutely.
Like, I've already made a decision. So I can imagine for like builder, trade, somebody who's looking to invest in a home or, look at getting a trade out to support their kind of build. That's the first thing they're going to see as well. And they're going to make the decision straight away.
100%. It's when it's such like a task like that, it's so much money, it's so much time, it's so much love, especially like building a home. People want to see, you take care of your builds, especially now, like, as I'm not sure but there are some dodgy builders out there. There are some people that waste so much money with shit trades, shit builders. But, if you are genuinely a good builder and you're struggling to win leads, that's just something that I'm just straight away saying, like, hop on Instagram, hop on the socials, talk through why you do things, talk through why you add, certain things. It's an absolute game changer.
100%. And within that space as well, I can imagine you've grown from working on smaller projects to now working on some of the biggest projects in Victoria. Shed some light on some of those projects that you've worked with. I'd be keen to know more.
Yeah, it's definitely been something that I've looked back over the time and been like, oh wow. Obviously, we've worked on some of the biggest projects in Australia, some hyperscale data centers, some hospitals, some towers in the city. One of our bigger clients is, I think, probably going to be the biggest builder in Australia this year. So it's like going on those sites, rubbing shoulders with that team, the directors of that company, and even like just some of their marketing side of teams. It's just I've learned so much. It's definitely something I look back on. I'm super proud of. I think even just stepping foot on those projects, you see the sheer size and scale of construction, and it's just been able to open my mind to so much, like the capabilities of what anyone can do, I guess. And I think it's definitely, one, helped fuel our growth, but two, helped us bring in, new things into the business and helped us scale a little bit faster.
Yeah, is it like a bit of a pinch me moment when you kind of go on those bigger sites and like, wow, you're actually contributing to a level of this thing actually being built, some of the biggest builds in Victoria?
Definitely. I know, like, it is only like as small as like, a video on LinkedIn, but I think one of the ones, like, just for example, like we did a Western Bulldogs Platinum partnership video with Kapital Group, and I think even just seeing that on LinkedIn, all of our shots that we directed, we filmed, we edited, just seeing that go online, it's just something like, oh wow, like that, like it sort of stances us in the market, but also like super grateful to even be given that opportunity, and something that we'll definitely look back on and that'll really stand our business in time.
100%. I mean, I guess that goes back and also shows how you guys operate as a business. I mean, the level of expertise, the service, you wouldn't be called out to these bigger sites or these bigger projects, Western Bulldogs Capital, without having that team, that level of expertise behind you. So that's pretty good, man. That's sick. You guys should be super proud with what you're doing. Moving forward as well, obviously AI is a huge kind of talking point in the market right now. I know you guys have obviously engaged with us with some level of integration, and we've kind of gone through different projects. Talk a little bit about what you guys have up and running and kind of the vision for the future as well.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it's a good point. I think once we sort of saw what you were doing, we were straight away on board. AI is super important, as well as like a lot of our clients are sort of starting to implement it as well. So it's definitely something we were like, we wanted to get onto the ball. So I think we brought in you, and I think one of the most important things you did for us was that first initial consultation, that department mapping, going through all the facets of the business, what gets done in those facets of business, what takes the longest, what takes time. Just mapping out all of that was super important, and any business I think should be doing that. And then obviously, therefore, we saw that, we saw what was taking the longest, we saw what was churning up a lot of our time, and we were like, we then proposed some tools for us that saves us those times. So I think the first tool that we created was something in our secondary service, being websites, and a lot of the time in websites was the onboarding. Not sure if agencies out there listening, how long it takes for clients to send over information for websites and also revisions. So that was something that I think was a tool that we could have built that would not only save us time but clients time. So we built an onboarding tool that we're able to send to clients. They're able to fill out a quick form that scrapes so much information from their company, and then we're able to grab that form and basically start building the website straight away. So that saved us a whole heap of time. We're still using it now, so it's been awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely, 100%. And like you said, that first level strategy just identifies like different areas of the business. Obviously, you guys have so much on your plate with wanting to expand the business, look at different areas of growth, and it's something that you can't pour all your time into AI, and that's where I was happy to come in, map out the business. And you see now, we just had another meeting earlier this week, a couple of weeks ago as well, kind of like our catch up with what's going on within the space, and the strategy still stands today.
Correct.
It's actually more prominent today than it was 12 months ago.
Absolutely.
12 months ago we were like, yeah, like, can that be automated yet? And now it's like, far out, man, like that's fully mapped out.
I think when you first came in, we were a little bit like, oh, okay, like you don't really understand what can be done.
Yeah.
But now, like once you see from just that department mapping and then the tools outlined, and then those tools being put in day to day every single day, then you're like, okay. And then we're like, James, come in for another meeting. Let's see what can we do next?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And that space is going to continue to grow. And obviously our partnership is going to continue to grow as well with different areas. I can support you, but also you guys can support me as well with, marketing, scaling, and different areas of my business. So what would you say is next, Ned? Like, you've got the team up and running here in Melbourne. You've built a really good brand off the back of doing really good work. What do you think are different areas now where you see Horizon going into the next 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, I think next for us is definitely refining our systems. Ensuring Melbourne and Victoria is still strong. Obviously, with a big team now, stuff gets missed. So we need to make sure that all of that is solid, and the core foundation of when we do go to scale, and when we do, potentially go interstate and that sort of stuff, that the SOAR foundations are solid. But I think what's next for us is continue growing out Melbourne and Victoria, and then potentially look at an interstate expansion. However, also, bringing new services and new tools to the market is something that I think is a bit of an untapped industry, especially in the construction industry. What we're doing currently now is awesome, and I think it's going to continue that way. But, it's an ever-changing industry. So just sort of always being at the forefront of what we can bring to construction companies and builders and trades and developers, and how we can sort of assist them with anything in the digital space is next.
Yeah, 100%. That interstate play would be pretty sick though.
It would be. I think, yeah, it's something that would be pretty cool for Jaden and I. I think it's something that is definitely on the cards, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I want to bring it back further to kind of when you guys started out. Like, we're talking now about these huge projects with Kapital, the Western Bulldogs as well. When you guys first started, like, bring me through. How'd you even land those first couple of clients, and build your way up until this point 3 years on?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I always look back on it, and I think that was probably one of the funnest parts of the business.
Yeah.
Those early days, I had a bungalow out the back of my house, and we turned that into an office with my brother. My brother's a builder, so we shared an office with him. And I kid you not, the first early days was Jaden and I hopping on a phone call, hopping on cold calling, 100 companies a day, saying, "Can we give you a free video?" So we obviously had this service that we wanted to craft our skills, and we wanted to learn an industry. So what we basically did was we called 100 companies a day, and just said, "Can we give you a free video? Let us come on site. Let us learn the game. Let us craft our skills in editing." And then some people said, "Fuck off."
As they do.
Some people said, "Yeah, why not?" So I think providing value early on, just not for a monetary gain, was big for us. And I think that was sort of our motto as we grew, because it helped us grow at the start. So obviously, those cold calling turned into some free videos from clients. Funny enough, some of those clients are still our clients today.
Far out.
And then with the bigger companies, we had that same motto. So I think for Kapital Group, funny story, we they had a site in Preston, and they had 2 cranes that looked unreal at night, looked sick. They lit up in their green teal, and we were like, I wonder if we could fly a drone at night, when obviously off site, no one's on site, and let's just make them a free video. Jaden and I had this idea, and we were like, we'll put a little bit of CGI, their logo, and we'll make a little video and we'll send it to them. And Jaden had just connected with their marketing manager on LinkedIn. So one night we went there. It was an RDO, so no one was on site, and it was at night anyway. So we flew a drone, just not on their side, around their side, and we made a quick little video up for them and added a little bit of CGI stuff to it. And we sent it to them, and they were like, "Whoa, don't ever do that again," but we love it.
Yeah.
So and even just from that free video that they, said came in for a meeting, they had just made some changes to their marketing team. They needed a social media manager. And then from there, we grew a bit of a partnership, and that made us, helped us go on those hyperscale data centers, those towers, and obviously, made us solidified in the game, working with like a company of that size. And yeah, super grateful. But that was a huge moment for us, and something that I'll always look back on, I think.
Would you say that's like one of the major turning points for the business?
Turning points, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, turning points. Just, I think, obviously, just sheer learning, just for me and Jaden, to go on those sites and work with a company like that, infiltrated by their systems, how they worked, the innovation they expected from us, the speed, that was huge. So it helped us, like a company scaling at that size, just being, thrown in the deep end with them, WhatsApps at 12 a.m., like just saying like, where's this? That helped us scale. I think that really made us be like, okay, well, this company's doing this. This is the level and standard we need to be operating at. So that made us, higher. That made us put systems into our business. What can we automate? What can we do to speed up things? What can we do to make sure quality is always at the forefront? So it definitely made us internally, maybe not externally with the marketing, but internally definitely learning how a company of that size operates. That was huge.
True. So, I mean, that's get yourself around the A players in the market, and look how much teaching, learning
Yeah.
you'll get back from that as well.
A company like that, I think it stems from the top, and you'll find that once you walk in the doors of that, their whole team, their team's at I think 500 now,
Well,
but their whole team is operating like that, and it's stemming from the top. So that's something that we learn as founders, that to if you want your team to work like that, you need to work like that, I think.
yeah, I agree. It always starts at the top and kind of building the culture around how you guys operate, the quality, the level of expertise, the care taken to every single client as well. That always starts with the founders. That mindset that you said of kind of going to site and taking a chance, taking a risk, that's like a go get mindset. So personally, is that something you bring into every day of how you operate as a business owner?
Definitely. I think every day I wake up like raring to go, which is something that's so special in business. But the go-get mindset, as I said, the business was built on that, and it's something that we do every single day. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that mindset kind of goes into other areas of your life as well, like marathon running, couple marathons you did last year as well. You know, would you say that success in business, or kind of bringing that mindset in business, contributes into other areas and builds confidence in other areas of your life as well?
Definitely. I think I set those goals outside of business for that reason. Making sure sometimes business, you want to have external stuff going on as well, to keep that mindset sharp and keep that discipline strong. So setting those goals, like, the 2 marathons last year and something we've got coming up.
We'll touch on that soon.
We'll touch on that. Something we've got coming up. But I think something for me is I set those goals for business, I guess. So I set those goals, if I can do this outside, I can do this in. So something that with those running goals, I definitely do it to keep my mindset sharp and the discipline super strong.
100%. And you said I know when we've spoke personally, you've always been pretty heavy on goal setting. And that's something internally I'm trying to get better as well as a business owner, is having goals, more strict goals, because I find that a lot of the times they do change within like 6 to 12 months just because business changes. But how have you found like being able to set those goals and then fulfill those goals? Because I know as well, when I like tell myself I'm going to do something and then I do it, it like relays confidence, and then you kind of build up from there. Is that something similar you found?
Yeah, correct. I think the goal setting, especially with Jaden and I, has been huge. I urge, like, I think, or even off our conversation the other day, goal setting, don't set goals, and set extravagant goals. So, in 12 months, if you set a goal and you don't hit it, like, look back at, what you did hit and see why you didn't hit it. But if you set an extravagant goal, you'll sort of see that you've come already so far. You might not have hit that goal, but you've come extremely far just off hitting that extravagant goal, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, it does.
set a really hard goal. If you don't hit it, you'll see what you did hit, and you'll be like, okay, that's still a fair chunk. So that was something that we wanted to do. I think in a year we were like, let's set these extravagant goals. Some of them we didn't hit, but shoot for the moon, you fall in the stars. So you still 10 times further than if you were to set a little small goal and be happy with that and have some confidence in that. We set huge goals and might not have hit them, but we were still pretty close, and that was better off doing that than setting a small goal. But I think with the goals, they've got to be super specific. Have a clear timeline, so set the goals and then retract back. 12-month goals, 6-month goals, 3-month goals, and yeah.
That's true. I've been reading an interesting book around 10x being able to 10x your business is easier than being able to 2x your business.
Correct.
And the book concepts kind of talk about that. If you ask, how am I going to 2x my business right now? 100 different paths will light up. Double down on lead gen, hire a new person, etc., etc. But if you ask yourself, how am I going to 10x my business? maybe only one path will illuminate.
Absolutely.
And then you got to get strip back all the other crap that you're doing and focus on that one path.
Absolutely.
And you're like more likely to 10x the business.
Yeah, I think that's something that like a lot of huge leaders, like even like Elon Musk, like someone that like, you know, his sheer scale is unreal.
Yeah.
He even sets those crazy goals, and he says, you know, you might not hit the goals, but you're already close. So it's better than saying, you know, I want to 2x your business. You could 2x your business doing anything, doing a completely different service, but 10xing your business, as you exactly said. There's a clear timeline. There's a clear, you know, do this, then do this, then do this. Whereas, you know, 2x your business, you could be doing something completely irrelevant, completely different. You know, you might 2x your business, but that's taken away from how to 10x your business. So,
That's
yeah.
true. That's true. Going back to the construction space and construction marketing, obviously you said it kind of started to heat up when you guys got started in 2023. Where do you see this space heading now in the next for the next 4 years to the end of this, you know, kind of 2020s and leading into 2030s? Do you see it becoming actually non-negotiable to have construction marketing?
Yeah, I think it already is
Okay.
non-negotiable.
All right, nice.
I think now as the younger generation comes up, even for like trade companies, for example, the people that are looking at the tenders, the people that are giving out these contracts, they're young. You know, they're fresh out of uni, they're in their 20s, so they're on LinkedIn, they're on Instagram. I'll pay someone many money to if you're gonna find me a person in their 20s that's not on social media. So. If you're a trade company and you're quoting tier 3, tier 2 projects, and you think these contract administrators, these PMs aren't on LinkedIn, aren't on social media, you're just wrong. So, but that's fine, and it's you know, if you haven't done it, it's not too late. I think over the next 5 years, you know, you always have people that are slow to the game, but it's definitely something that is becoming a non-negotiable. And I think even people just that are putting iPhone photos up of what they do day to day, of how they operate their back end stuff. You know, you might have a crazy SOP system and a crazy ITP system, but if you're not sort of sharing that and how you do things, how are these builders going to know that you do that sort of stuff? And then also, if you finish like a really good project and you're not really showcasing it, if you go to quote the next project, and how are they going to know that you've finished that project? You know, yeah, you can say, I've done this, this, and this, and that's fine. But if you're posting that on LinkedIn, posting that on Instagram, you know, a walkthrough video of one of your boys showing what you've done, how you've done it, I think that's going to go a lot further than, you know, in the next 5 years of that trust. You know, here's a project we've just handed over with such and such builder. We've handled this package. You know, we were here at this stage, and this stage, and now we're here back at the handover. Come take a look at what we've done. You know, it's an easy video. It's an easy couple photos. If you're going to tender with that sort of stuff, I think builders are going to be a lot more confident in handling out that package. Obviously, price comes into it, which is fair. But if you're handling out that marketing sort of stuff, builders are going to be like, okay, you know, these guys have got the job done previously. I can trust them to get the job done again.
100%. That's true. And I kind of see personally as well, the social game is more of like a compounding interest.
Yep.
Like personally, I've been posting on LinkedIn for nearly a year and 18 months now. Like probably close to 500, 600 posts on LinkedIn. And just previously, maybe around a couple months ago, landed my biggest ever project size from LinkedIn. And up until that point, you know, some projects would come in, but nothing of crazy size. And it would just be consistency. I'd show up, I'd show what the business is doing, how I'm growing as a person, how the business is growing. And then that person could go on and scroll through hundreds of posts. They've done this, they've done that. And the trust that built instantly was like, okay, I can trust this guy with this project. And to be honest, we pretty much hopped on the call and we mapped out the system, we mapped out the project, and there wasn't any question of is this guy capable? And I guess that's kind of what you're alluding to as well.
Absolutely. It's definitely not like a 1 week thing. As you said, it's a 12-month thing. if someone finds you off of Instagram, they're able to scroll, 6, 7 posts down, and see, okay, he's worked with this builder, he's done this project. It's interest before they even hop on a call with you guys. They're gonna say, okay, they're capable of these guys. They're not gonna question you. So it definitely is a long term game, but it's a compounding game as well. So yeah, that's 100% bang on.
All right, man. Well, there's a big announcement as well to be made.
Oh,
if you wanted to make it.
yes.
There's something pretty crazy we're trying to do. I guess going back to setting those big
goals,
that are kind of 10xing where you were 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Or for us, maybe 2.5xing. So, yeah.
Well,
what are we doing, man?
last year we did a marathon, and
Which
I think
up until that point was probably a 10x.
it was a 10. It was, yeah. It was
Kind of
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you tried to do a marathon one day, but we did it last year, the Gold Coast one.
Yeah.
And I think you said you weren't going to run much after that.
No, it's been a while since I've last put
and
the alpha
then
flies on.
and then me and Con were talking, and we were like, why don't we just do something crazy this year? And it was going to be an Ironman, but I think we wanted to do something a little bit different. It's actually not a little bit different, but a little bit just in Melbourne, a little bit crazier. And I think you came up with the idea, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a Nulk video.
Yeah, the Nulk video
of them running 170 kilometers or 100 miles.
100 miles, yeah.
And after that video, I was ready to like run through a wall. So I just put in the WhatsApp group, you boys want to run 100 Ks. And yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago now. 6th of June, is it?
6th of June, we'll be doing Flinders Street to Sorrento or Portsea?
Yeah, Flinders Street to Peninsula area.
Yeah, Peninsula area.
100 Ks, yeah.
June 6th, which will be a good challenge. But as I said to you boys, it's going to be something that we're always going to remember that. We will always remember it. It's going to be hard, but it's something that we'll look back at when we're older and be like, well, remember that time we just did that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. And I think one of the main reasons I'm doing it as well is because when I set myself like those big goals, like last year was a marathon, like this year it's going to be the 100 Ks, and then I start training, that training and that discipline just goes into my business like automatically.
Yeah.
Like those runs where you get in your head and there's longer like 30, 40K runs,
100%.
that mindset, that fuel just fuels everything you're doing in your business.
Definitely.
Do you find that for yourself as
Definitely.
well?
I think that's the sole reason why I'd want to do them, is because if you're fueling that outside of work, how can you not come to work on a Monday or a Tuesday and not have that same intensity and not have that same discipline to, run through a brick wall, I guess. It's something that the sole reason why I set those goals is because I want it to relay into the business.
Yeah. One thing I ask everyone before we finish it up, what's one piece of advice that's gotten you to this point? So from starting an entrepreneurial journey to now, what's one thing that always goes in your head that you kind of live by that could help others as well?
Okay, starting their entrepreneurial journey?
Just something that you've taken with you. Like I remember like last week, Dan's quote was, don't worry about the external, just keep it internal.
Yeah, okay.
Like what's one thing you just live by that every day you keep on going that other people be like, okay, that's something I can bring on as well?
Okay, definitely don't worry about the money.
Okay.
Don't worry about the monetary value. Like, yes, focus on a high income skill and always think of, how can you sort of price it higher. That's very important. But focus on providing value first. So you're not going to win clients. You're not going to build relationships by, slapping a big price on something and saying that's my price. Go to clients and say, hey, I can help you do this. Here's an example of it. Here's how it would work for free. Maybe not for free, maybe for a discounted rate. Think of it intelligently. Provide value first before saying here's the price. Build relationships is super important. It's something that we've been able to, have 150 repeat clients, which is huge for us. build relationships, provide value, the money will come slowly, but it will come.
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs starting will just want to be like, oh, I just want to make something a month or whatever. Provide value first. It's a long-term game. Provide value, and then you'll be set. You'll have relationships. People will know that you're trustworthy. People that you're a man of your word, and that you will deliver. So they're not going to question you when they go to you for the next project or something like that.
Yeah, that's a huge nugget. Provide value, and everything else will come. I guess that's everything in life. If you give something out, it's going to come back to you. And the importance of building those relationships long term, showing those clients you're not just here for a quick buck, but you're here to build a long term partnership.
Yeah, that's what's going to benefit you in the long term run. Everyone can sell something straight away, and once you sell it and they realize it's shit, they're not going to come back to you. If you provide value, sell something, provide value. You've got a long-term client in your hands that they're not going to go to anywhere else. They know you're the man. They know you're the one that's going to serve them well, serve them right. And then when it does come time to price it, they're not going to question that price, and they're going to be like, "Yep, fair enough, man." Like that's it.
Huge bit of value nugget there to end it off. But yeah, guys, Ned, thanks for coming on, my man.
Thanks for having me, bro. Super grateful.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. If you guys want to check out Digital Horizon Marketing, I'll leave everything in the link. Best in the game when it comes to construction marketing. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, Ned. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time.